Hi guys, it's Nicole here again with mommytipsbycole. And Dylan, as you can see in the background, sitting in the double stroller. He did not want to go down for a nap, and he was just interested to sit in the stroller because it's in the house, which it rarely ever is opened in the living room. So he's sitting there eating his Cheerios and drinking some juice. So I wanted to get this video in for you guys. So it was a highly requested video, actually. A bunch of you have asked me over the past couple of months for a review on the double stroller that I do have, and as you can see, it's right behind me, and it's the Combi double stroller, side-by-side double stroller. So if you stay tuned to the end of this video, I'll do a more thorough review of the actual stroller, but I wanted to get in some tips for purchasing a double stroller. So these are the things that I pretty much jotted down in my phone to kind of narrow down, thinking back to 2009 when we were in the process of looking for a double stroller when I was pregnant with my second baby, Malia. She was born at the end of May. So I know there's a bunch of new strollers that are out there now that maybe I would consider buying today if I was, you know, in that process all over again. But these are the things that have helped me at that time, and hopefully they will help some of you that maybe are possibly pregnant with your second baby, or maybe planning in the near future to have another child. So what are you doing, Dylan? So I kind of narrowed it down into categories of things that I think are really important to consider prior to making that big purchase or investment, I would say. So this has been a pretty big investment for us, for our family. So the first thing that I have down here is budget. Definitely you want to find something that fits within your budget. The strollers that are out there can, you know, vary in cost, but like I said, it is an investment. So especially if you're going to be using it for, you know, the next couple of years. So that's kind of also all what ties into your budget, is to consider how long you will be using the stroller for. So if you are planning to have maybe a third baby, not too long after your second, or in the near future after, obviously it'll be a good purchase to have, you know, down that line if you're going to have more kids. So obviously this is my third, so we're still using it. What is it, 3 years later. The second area I wanted to touch base on is accommodation. You have to consider if it's carrier compatible. There are strollers that are maybe umbrella strollers that are double strollers, like I've seen McLaren. I had a McLaren with my first, and I really love the idea of the umbrella stroller with the brand McLaren, and they do have double strollers. But at the time that I saw, the McLarens that I liked were not carrier compatible, meaning can you attach the car seat infant carrier to the stroller? And for this particular one, we do. We were able to, and in this corner here, I have the car. I brought up the car seat from the basement so I could show you guys. As far as the stroller being carrier compatible, there are strollers there that do hold other brands of carriers. So for instance, with my first, I had a Graco travel system, but unfortunately, this Combi would not hold that carrier, that car seat that I had formerly. So we had to make the additional purchase of buying the Combi car seat. So that also ties into your budget, so you have to consider that. So if this was the stroller that I really wanted to get, so we had to make the additional purchase of another infant car seat. But if that is something that you're not willing to do, so definitely consider the type of strollers that are out there that do hold other brands of carriers. Sometimes they'll sell a separate adjustment or a separate contraption that that you are able to attach the car seat to the stroller. Also, maybe you have older kids and they don't always like to sit in the strollers, so maybe you want to look into a double stroller that has a stand or a board in the back of the stroller so that the older kids can stand on it. I know that there are attachments or buggy board types of, I don't know what the particular brands are, but other types of strollers that are compatible to attach those stand boards for older children. Or maybe you want to look into a sit-in stand, which also can be carrier compatible and also be able to have a little stand board for your older children. Moving on, you want to consider the size of the stroller itself, the weight, the height of the stroller, the weight capacity, how much, what is the maximum weight that the stroller can hold, or minimum weight that you can put your baby in after they have already outgrown their infant carrier. And obviously also the durability of the stroller, whether the quality is going to withstand the test of time through 2-3 kids or more. Obviously for this particular one, it's still working and functioning just as it did when we first purchased it. So those are important things to consider as well. Storage capabilities is something that was very important to me, especially at the time being pregnant and having to care for a small toddler. So I was concerned having 2 kids under 2, and then eventually when I had my third, I had 3 kids under 3. So a lot of times I'll be using the stroller. I'll just be alone while my husband's at work. So all of the things that I will mention in this category are things that I had to consider, take into consideration, or things that are important, especially when I was alone with all the kids. So how the stroller folds, how easy it folds is very important. The way that it folds, this one folds upright, and I'll show you later some fold flat down on the floor. Especially for the times that you are alone, you want to consider how easy it is to lift it in and out of the car. So tying into the weight of the stroller and how easily it folds. Also, you want to consider how it will fit into your vehicle, whether you have 3 rows, 2 rows, whether your car is compact or a large SUV. These are all things that are very important and that you have to keep in mind before making that purchase. So traveling is very important. If you will be planning future trips to travel, whether it's in the airport or the train, or if you live in the city, if you're in the subway, these are all things that obviously have to be considered as well. As for us, we were able to we were able to bring this down to Disney World when I was pregnant with my third, but we actually drove and it fit in the car amongst all of our other luggages, so that worked out perfectly for us. We've also brought this to visit our in-laws in Las Vegas, and brought this on the airplane, so we had no problems, you know, going through security and the gate and whatnot. So those are things as well that have to keep in mind for the future. And lastly, everything is in the details. So the things that I mentioned earlier are really more priorities for me or for us that we considered. The minor details are just as important as the things that you're considering as priorities. So for example, you want a stroller that has 5-point harness, removable and washable seats. So these covers here actually detach very easily, and I can just throw them in the wash and put them back on. So that was something I had to consider, which was not something that was easy with the first stroller that I had with my first child. So learning from that, I took that into consideration. These are just Velcroed on, and there's a zipper, and it just comes out very easily. Also, handles and hooks for your diaper bag. Consider the type of diaper bag maybe that you're using. I had to, I'll show you guys later, but the type of diaper bag that I had initially, I had to have special attachments to hang the bag, and also I purchased a separate mommy hook to hang any shopping bags that we need. So, you know, those are also things that to consider. I mean, you might not always have the same diaper bag. I'm not still using the one that I was initially using, but there obviously are other things that you can purchase to accommodate whatever type of diaper bag that you have. Cup holders. Cup holders, we think, come with all strollers, but in fact they don't. Luckily enough, this has 3 cup holders in the front for us, but the downside is there aren't any cup holders in the back for mommy to like put her water or coffee or whatever it is that maybe you would be carrying. But again, you can purchase other attachments for those. So those are things that are not as important, but things definitely to keep in mind and to consider. And snack trays, not all strollers have snack trays. I double the cup holders as snack trays. Dylan is eating some Cheerios that I put into the cup holders. So those are things also, minor things that you should consider as well. Underneath storage, there are tons of strollers out there that I've seen that barely had any room to even fit like your purse, a small purse. Luckily enough, the underneath storage on this had ample room to stuff some jackets. Maybe if the kids wanted to take off their jackets, we put jackets on there. Any minor like shopping bags, not huge shopping bags, but little shopping bags we can fit underneath, or toys. Lastly, an important detail is how easy it is to maneuver the stroller, especially one-handed. Many times that I am using this or have used this in the past, I've had to maneuver it one-handed. So that's something that you want to consider. There was actually another stroller that we were choosing between this and the Graco double stroller, front and back double stroller, but that stroller was just not easy for me. Maybe it will be, it's good for some other people, but for me, it wasn't easy for me to maneuver. It was hard for me to fold. It was heavier than this one. So I pretty much weighed out the pros and cons between, my top two choices in order to make the best decision for our family. So some additional advice I want to suggest that I did for myself prior to even shopping, and while we were shopping and before we added it to our registry, read the online reviews. So I went on Babies R Us or maybe Bye Bye Baby and read other people's testimonials and reviews that have the stroller. Sometimes you can't always base your decision off of the reviews. So another thing that I did at that time is I asked for recommendations from friends or families. So I posted on my personal Facebook page if anybody had any recommendations for me to check out. Obviously, I'm going to trust my friends and family's opinion and take into consideration what has worked for them or what hasn't worked for them. So that was something else that I did. And also, when you are shopping, test drive. Just like when you go shopping for a car, you never make that purchase without taking it for a test drive, right? Without exploring what options that the vehicle has and how well does it drive. For us, we went to several stores multiple times. I almost lost count of how many times we went to the stores because I couldn't decide, and I wanted to keep going back to make sure that what we were choosing was right for us. So whether you're gonna go back 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, as many times as it takes for you to test drive that stroller and put your kids in it. If obviously we only had one at the time, so I put my daughter on one side, my eldest daughter, and on the other side I attached the carrier car seat that was in the store, just so I can get a feel for what it would really be like to push the stroller with both kids inside. So that's pretty much it, guys. Those are all the important key points that we looked for when making our purchase for our double stroller. Obviously, every family is different, so maybe something that is important to me may not be as important to you, or maybe something that has worked for me, may not work for you. So it's obviously it's going to vary on your personal preferences. So these are the things that have helped me, and I hope that this Dylan doesn't want to get out of the stroller, but he's just getting restless in there. Even if I try to take him out, he doesn't want to get out. Dylan, you want to get out? You want to go down? Do you want to go down? No. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you, and stay tuned because I will give you a more thorough close-up view of the stroller and a review.